will be met?
Maybe it will have been better if the president has said the congestion in 100 days.
Okay.
Not 60 days.
60 days too small.
You know it is not possible.
Okay.
Not with the situation on ground.
Okay, tell us what the situation on ground is. At one time in December, we had 72 ships were waiting to berth. Was that true? And what is the situation now?
No. Let's take a little bit, let's take some steps backwards to ask ourselves what led into all this. We all know what they call congestion.
Yes.
Because of those at home, we may, in a very simple language, describe what congestion is. Congestion is like when a bachelor is living in one room. He goes out, he comes in, all portfolios. One day, he gets a girlfriend. One day, the girlfriend becomes a wife. One day, they have a kid. Another time, they have 2 kids. If he keeps living in that room, it will get to a point where there will be, the space will continue to reduce and reduce and reduce until there may be no place to put even the man's portfolio.
They'll be sitting on each other's heads.
They'll be sitting on each other's heads. I like that language. Now, when you look at the post system, you have a situation where in the past it used to be, everything used to belong to NPA. The government comes in one day and say, look, you are not doing it well, you are not getting it fine. Let's turn you to a landlord, bring in tenants, fill up all your rooms with tenants, and then ask the tenants to start doing whatever you've been doing. So, what do you have? The tenants come in, they pay for whatever they are supposed to pay. And you know it becomes very difficult. Right now, many people are saying MP is not playing the regulatory role very well. I agree they may not. I'm still going back to the issue of congestion you asked. Now, so you discover that by the time the man rents out a room, you hardly can enforce what the man does right.
Because once I've paid rent, I've got some rights.
Some rights, exactly. So what you discover now is, right inside the port, they keep putting in boxes. The importer brings in the boxes. The number that is going out is not as much as the number that is coming in. Don't forget again the bachelor who becomes a married man, whose wife now has a kid, 2, 3, each of them.
In other words, 40 ships come in a week, but only 3 are released every week. So there's a backlog.
Of course. You have a glut, container glut. And as time goes on, you begin to discover that they start stacking it. Maybe in the beginning you have a container on the whatever you call it, on the floor. Then after a while you start putting 2 containers. After a while you have 3. After a while you have 4. Now, coming to a place like Nigeria, we may hardly be able to have more than 4 or 5 because of our terrain. A place like Djibouti, for example, a place like, okay, let me take Djibouti, for example, just a small country beside Ethiopia. They could stack 7 high because of the nature of the piling. Our port can only go 4 and I think a maximum of 5. Otherwise, you have everything coming down, sinking. So in a situation like that, of course, you know, we induce the congestion. So you are now asking, is it possible? Now, by the time you have had so much stack, and you are not thinking of just taking out. Imagine a situation where you are able to bring in every day, you bring in 10 containers. And every day you are able to take out 3 containers. You have a backlog, a glut of 7. What do you have? Across 7 days, you have 7 times 7, 49.
And your explanation
then the president now says decongesting 60 days.
Your explanation has, painted a picture for me. And the picture I'm seeing is you stacked 4 containers. The bottom, the one at the bottom, obviously is the first one that came in. That one will have more demurrage than the other 3. Naturally. So if that person, even the owner of the 4th one at the bottom, wants to come and claim his container, that's the problem.
Not only that. Now look at it this way. When he comes in, he says he wants to pick his container. It is not all the terminals that have the capacity to identify where each person's container is located. For now, I think the only terminal there, the only terminal managers I'm sure that have such equipment is the APMC.
So how ordinarily would one identify one's container? Go physically.
Searching for it.
Physically. Walking around the port.
Start searching for it, and that is why if anybody is telling you that there is anything like 48 hours, I will tell you it is not going to happen this year.
But in a situation where, you know, we have a light terminal at Ikorodu.
Okay.
And we read in the course of the week reports that about 2,000 containers will be diverted, actually be diverted to Ikorodu. And now you're telling us that there's an inefficient procedure of identifying containers.
Okay. Let me bring you back a little bit into this issue of Ikorodu. Now, look at it this way. Ikorodu for now, what the role Ikorodu for now is playing is this. Government says when